turn it up. You're listening to the Country Music Rocks podcast with Danny and Julia. Your all-access pass to all your favorite artists, untold stories, and the real behind-the-scenes of country music.
Well, we didn't plan this, but we're both rocking our Nashville gear.
I know, I love it.
I love it. When I saw you come in, I was like, oh my gosh.
I know.
We didn't even plan it.
No, we should have. And look, we're better off like this. Good minds think alike.
I know, right?
That's what it is.
Speaking of Nashville, I just got back from Nashville not too long ago.
Yes. How was the trip?
Quick, but fun.
Yes.
Russell celebrated his #1 hit, Happened to Me.
Yep.
And it was just kind of interesting. I just wanted to touch on this a little bit because I know you're involved in it, like on the radio side of things.
Right.
So, you're part of helping these artists get to their #1. But it was so cool to see them celebrate it in the capacity of how they do it.
Right.
Of course, it's a party. The
And
high noons were there.
A big party.
It is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But it was so interesting to see how many people, including radio, it takes to get that song there.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
People don't realize what goes on behind the scenes.
And it's like, I knew it and I know it, but at the same time to see it and seeing it all unfold and all the organizations that kind of got up and talked about it and talked to Russell or about him and, as he was sitting there and just kind of soaking it all up. It was so cool. Like so much goes into a song that I think we all kind of forget sometimes.
Yeah.
And until you kind of see it, like right up front, it's pretty surreal.
It is. And it's one of those moments that, like I said, people don't realize how much goes into it because there's management, there's teamwork, there's, let's say
there's a label. And
the
it's
label
like,
mates and how many people on the label are helping to push the #1 songs to get to that level. It's a lot.
It is a lot. And I mean, just to be in the BMI building alone was pretty
cool building.
It was a very cool building. And you just know like how many people have walked through those doors.
Oh,
and, the songs that are, it's just, it was cool. It was a great experience. I'm glad I didn't have fear of missing out on that one because it was just such a great moment. I'm so proud of Russell. I mean, he was just, like I said, soaking up that moment for him. I mean, it was really cool.
It is cool. How many people were there total, would you say?
I would say probably at least 100.
Sure.
And like I said, all the publishing groups were there, all the songwriters that are part of that song, everybody from the label. I think one of his attorneys were there. Like every piece of the puzzle
fits
was there or at least mentioned. And there's so many pieces, which is crazy because, so that song got to #1, but those people are involved in, it takes so much for every song.
Right.
We don't realize it. We're just, when we talked to Chase Matthews, a couple months ago, we heard the song, how the song is born. Yep. And now seeing it, how it grew.
And then it comes all the way to #1 and how many people have touched their fingers on it.
Exactly. It was a lot. It was a lot more than I realized.
Right. It was interesting. It's been probably 12, maybe 15 years since I was at the BMI building. Has it been redecorated? Was there pictures on the walls? And paint a picture for me. Because I remember the time we went to Nashville for CRS and we got to go to the Sony building and Kenny Chesney was there.
Yes, that was
and
very
Brad
cool.
Paisley was there. We walked around and at different zones of the building, everybody had something cool.
Exactly. So I've never been to the BMI building. So this was a first for me all around.
Right.
So it was just kind of, I don't know what it looked like before, but I mean, it's just very big and vast. Like you walk in and it's just massive foyer, and that's actually where they ended up having the celebration, was right there.
Oh, okay.
And they just kind of had, it's just very, very professional looking. Like you look like you're walking into a building on Wall Street almost.
Yeah.
Security outside, and I don't know if that's all the time, just because of
I think it is.
It might be just because you never know
who's going to be coming through those
doors.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, I could think of like a Wall Street building you're walking into, and it's just very large.
Yeah. The opening scene of like Suits for me is very much like that, right? I'm expecting Harvey Specter to come walking through.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be very, very cool.
He's like, come on into the office, guys. I'd be like, let's go.
Exactly. I love that.
I love those kind of parties, and you're right. I have been to multiple of those, and it's a blessing to get to see it because again, we work with the record labels, and that's just a portion of it.
Right.
Not to talk about the management teams, the production teams,
the
the writers and their
publishers.
lawyers and their
Yeah.
teams. You start adding 5, 6, 8 people to the situation, and it gets crazy. But it is nice to see when they do finally get that number one. And that's why it's such a big celebration in radio when you finally get that number one, because it's not just about the artist. It's about everybody that was involved.
Exactly.
And a lot of work goes into it.
Exactly.
And I'll use Triple Tigers as an example. I mean, there's 5 reps that work on that part, but then you have the president, the vice president, and then you have your region of label mates that are there as well. One's covering the East, one's covering the Midwest, and they're out pushing songs all day long. Hey, can we get you guys like to help us with a couple more spins?
Exactly.
That's just a small portion of it, not everything else behind it. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Was there anybody there that you recognized? You're like, oh my gosh, they're in the crowd hanging out, celebrating Russell as well?
Of course, his wife was there.
Sure.
So,
Love
you know,
her.
oh, she's such a sweetheart. You know, there were some familiar faces. I don't know. I mean, probably not familiar enough that everybody would know. It was just more kind of like industry's people.
Right.
But
I know sometimes like the label, like their label mates will show up. Like sometimes Scotty might come walking in to celebrate.
That you say that, but Scotty was having a party the next day with Rudy. So he wasn't there yet.
Yes.
Which, unfortunately, my flight was at the same time because when I talked to one of our label friends, she's like, "Oh, you're coming to Scotty's party tomorrow?" And I'm like, "I actually have a flight." So
bummer.
but I know I would have loved to. I was almost like, "Can I change my flight?"
Yeah,
but yeah.
Stay for an extra day to have some fun.
You don't have to convince me to stay an extra day in Nashville.
And I don't know. This is actually I have to dig into this because I think it's pretty cool for people to be able to go to the ASCAP and the BMI buildings to get a chance to see. Like, I remember when we won the CMA and the ACM trophy years ago. Excuse me, I didn't mean to do that, but it's a podcast. But I remember when we won, like walking into those buildings was something very special.
It is special.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, we took some listeners to Nashville for the CMAs. And part of the deal was our good friends at UMG gave us a tour. And then we surprised our listeners with a concert with an artist in their room. And they did know that was happening.
Yeah.
And for everybody that wants to see behind the scenes, I think that's something that should be allowed and just be able to go see what it's like.
Exactly.
You can get the country music vibe and the feel when you go to the Johnny Cash Museum, the Country Music Hall of Fame. Those are great. Those are always number ones. Get those done. You have to do those.
Absolutely.
But the secondaries were like, could we go tour BMI and learn a little bit more about it? That's what I'm going to dig into because I think it'd be really fun.
Exactly. I think it would be really cool, even for myself, to be able to actually tour their building. And I feel like if you're really like into music, you know, kind of like we are, obviously, and there's so many people that really love not just the music, but like everything behind it and the, you know, the who, the whats, the wheres. I think it would be cool to have those opportunities to go see what is a record label office really like, you know? Like I know there's some small ones and then there are the ones like UMG and Sony where their buildings and their offices are so cool.
Yeah. And they're multi-level.
Yeah.
So there's like one team that does all the, you know, the regional presidents and they're all working with the team below to say, okay, here's your regions. Go talk to every radio station and get them on board for the new Luke Bryan or Keith Urban or Carrie Underwood, whatever it may be for that particular label, whoever they are. It is very fun to see behind the scenes.
It is.
Because it's like radio. When you first walk into a radio station or a TV station, you're kind of like, oh my gosh, it's not anything I thought it was going to look like.
It really isn't.
It's mind-boggling.
100%.
When I first walked into Fox 12, when I started working there years and years and years ago, I literally was like, this is it? It's not very big.
Well, I think our minds, you know, they go to, like you were mentioning, Suits. Like it goes to a TV show or it goes to a movie. So you already have something built in your mind, what you think it's going to be like. And then you show up and it's like, well, it's usually on a smaller scale, and you're like, how do you all fit in that room?
I know. It's like so weird. Yeah, it's crazy.
But so much excitement and great things come out of those small little areas.
It was interesting because you were there, and I was following along, and I was so excited for you. I'm like, oh, she's getting to do this. She's getting to do that. Did you get to do anything else on a short? Because it was a fast trip. You were like in and out.
I was in and out. I spent time with my best friend while I was there. I stayed with her, so I got to, you know, we did a lot of just shopping.
Oh, good.
A lot of shopping.
Yeah.
We did a lot of shopping.
On 12 South?
Yes, we went to 12 South a couple times. So we just kind of hung out and did
Good.
a lot of just quality time catching up.
That's good. That's always fun too.
Yes.
When you could tie business and friendship together and have a good time.
Exactly. Yeah, and I hadn't seen her in a while. It was actually almost a year to the date almost that I
Right.
had seen her. So it was pretty cool to be able to just have some downtime, had some
Good.
great dinners.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still manifesting the CMA Music Fest
Yep.
that we're trying to get to.
Because we don't want to have fear of missing out on that.
No, because it's the worst. And
Right.
I'm not going to lie, I had serious FOMO this weekend.
Same. I did too. All weekend long, starting on Friday, I was like, man, why aren't we at Stagecoach? Or man, why aren't we in Georgia? Like,
I know.
Why aren't we somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, let's start with Stagecoach.
Okay.
I have never been to Stagecoach.
Mm-hmm.
I have, again, on the radio side, our record reps.
Right.
Plenty of the West Coast reps that always end up going every year and they
Mm-hmm.
talk about it. And we see what it's like. My daughter Lexi went to Coachella a couple
Right.
weeks
That's
ago. She
right.
was there the very first week. And she went specifically to see Justin Bieber.
Right.
And she was like in hog heaven. You were not stopping this girl for
Yeah.
anything. She
It's
was
exciting.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
And the stage was completely different for Coachella as it
Yeah.
was for Stagecoach. But then this weekend was Stagecoach, and I was thinking on all my record reps, I'm like, what if we just jumped on a plane and went down for the night? But there were 75,000 people there this weekend. It was totally insane.
It was. And don't think I didn't think about that same thing.
I know.
I was almost going to be like, all right, Danny, let's go.
It's
Because
a 2.5 hour flight. We
yeah,
could do this.
Exactly.
Right.
I definitely thought about it. But
I know.
yeah, there was, yeah, I definitely had some FOMO on that because everything just seems so electrifying when
Right.
when you're watching the videos and you're seeing like Bailey's performance and
Right.
him jumping out of the stage in the middle of
Yeah.
Indio, California, in the middle of the desert, and there he is popping out and
Crazy.
high energy. Lainey, of course,
Right.
stellar performance.
I did catch some of Ella's performance because
Ella, yes.
it was on Sirius XM radio.
Yes, they
So
streamed
they-
so many.
It was a
Yeah.
lot.
Yep, which
and
is
then
cool.
Amazon Prime showed a lot of it.
Yep.
And I was really focused on trying to watch Ella's performance because I have not seen Ella come to the West Coast.
Right, I know. She's
And
due.
She's really due. And
Yep.
I feel like Stagecoach this year, everybody got a special gift that went because she was there.
Yep.
We've seen Lainey.
Yep.
We've seen Bailey. We've seen Cody. Cody's going to be here in a couple weeks or a couple months in Tacoma.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's one of those things like we get that opportunity. You don't get to see it there in the desert.
Right. And I feel like, not to interrupt you, but I feel like when you're at Stagecoach, they always bring out surprises. Like
Yes.
almost every artist, or at
Has-
least one of the main headliners, they brought out surprises.
Well, and that was Ella.
My gosh, her surprise.
Okay, so maybe it was just me. Like I don't know much about Theo Vaughn.
Okay.
I know he's a podcaster and I know he's a comedian.
Well, and so I had to actually look him up because I'm like, who is this guy?
Right.
Because I have been seeing him kind of like interviewing a lot with like artists and stuff like that. And there's been a ton going on with Ella.
Okay.
Like his podcast interview with her has just been, it's viral.
Right.
They keep playing all different clips from it. And I'm like, who is he? And I guess he was part of Road Rules or Real World. He was part of the MTV.
Oh, Real World. Maybe that's what
he
it was.
was part of one of those.
Okay.
I guess that's where he got his start. And
Okay, gotcha.
then from there kind of evolved.
Okay.
And I don't know what to think of him.
I don't either, but at one moment, like I saw a video I was watching, and I was watching Prime, and then I was watching, the socials, Instagrams,
yeah.
and lives, and everything else. I was trying to keep up with everything to see what was going on, and then at one moment, like somebody was like, "Oh my God, they're gonna kiss! They're gonna kiss!" And I was like, "Wait a minute, are they dating? Are they? What's happening
Danny
here?"
with the T again.
It
No.
was. I know. I was more like, what is happening right
Yeah,
now? And it was
yeah.
one of those moments. Like I was really excited for her performance, but when everybody went crazy for this.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I don't know. I don't know. But I did see a couple of videos backstage,
Right.
where he really wanted to get it right, like exactly where he's supposed to walk out, exactly like when he's supposed to start. Because I mean, it's not like he's a performer,
Sure.
And he's
Right.
singing a song that he may have heard it a million times, but when you're singing it to
Yeah.
70,000 people, it's a
Big-
lot different.
Well, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
already nerve wracking to stand on a stage with that many
So it was kind
people.
of cool to see that he wasn't taking it as a joke. He wasn't taking it lightly.
He was
like,
serious.
he actually wanted to get it right from the moment, like, okay, when do I take my first step out?
Right.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was fun. I did love the performance from Cody Johnson. I did see some of that Boys to Men
He
came
had
out.
Boys to Men, which I thought, like, I would never have expected that.
No.
So that's what I think is so cool with Stagecoach, because people just pop up out of nowhere, and it's always something that you wouldn't expect.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, if you think back a couple of weeks before that, Coachella, there was some surprises. Justin, the first week, not so much. Teddy Swims actually had surprises. He brought out David Lee Roth from Van Halen. He brought out a couple of other artists. And then the second weekend, Sabrina Carpenter brought out Madonna.
Yeah, which is huge.
Another thing,
Yeah.
like everybody was like shocked.
Right.
Because it was one of those really cool moments. I was like, oh my gosh.
Could be a once in a lifetime moment.
Right.
Yeah.
It could be. And if you've never seen that artist, then you're like, oh man, I just saw her, even though it's a limited performance.
Still, that's almost kind of cooler, because you know that's probably never going to happen again.
Yeah. And then, of course, Riley Green, I feel really bad for him.
I know. But Lainey's such a class act.
So if you hadn't heard, what had happened is on Saturday afternoon, they had dangerously high winds, and they had to emergency evacuate all 75,000 people.
Which I can't even imagine how that I'm glad I missed out on, because that's insane.
Right. Well, and it was like,
and then it's like, do you leave?
Well,
you know,
you had
because a lot
to.
of people, I know, but I mean, do you leave and just go back to your Airbnb or hotel? Or because I think that's where a lot of people were confused. Like, okay, so now I'm getting an Uber to leave, which were crazy expensive.
Right.
And then, you know, an hour later, oh, hey, just kidding. Now we're having the show again. So
I know.
that I've heard and kind of read a lot of, like, you should have either just canceled or told everybody shelter in place, something.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. Anyways,
I had seen.
that's a hard one to
It was a
navigate.
tough one. So if you didn't see some of the videos, it's pretty incredible.
It was gnarly. The sand. I mean, the sand kicking up is.
That's the worst, because what happens is at Coachella, when they get there, it's all grass. It's a polo grounds. It's beautiful.
Decent. Yeah.
But when Stagecoach happens, all the grass dies and it's all just sand. So then it becomes like just dirt in your face. Everyone is always wearing their bandanas and everything else. But I had literally seen like tents that people had put up in the parking lot that they were like partying, tailgating before they went in.
Yeah.
I saw like 3 or 4 tents go flying. So who knows where those went or if they hit anybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
Our radio friends all had backstage radio rooms, like trailers.
Right.
And they were all told to emergency evacuate to get into them. In fact, one of my friends, Corey Kent, actually came flying into their room because it was so bad. And he just hung out with them. They had cocktails and, you know, some food in there for him, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But it was one of those moments like, oh my gosh, it was crazy to see what happens. And I was glad that nobody really got hurt. So I don't know if did they cancel the rest of the show, that because Riley before
they
that
canceled his set.
Okay.
And I believe in Little Big Town set. I think Little Big Town was first, and then so I think they canceled a block of sets in order to, you know, because they couldn't put them on, and then Riley and then Lainey, they'd be, you know, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So I think just to make up some time, they just went straight to the headliner as soon as they got the go ahead. Okay, we can.
Which was back to Lainey. Right. So I was curious because I saw a video from a friend. They basically were like at an Airbnb, and somebody had privately had Riley Green come play at this pool.
Oh, well.
I know.
That's the place to be.
No kidding, right? They're like, he's walking, shaking hands with everybody, and then he starts singing around the pool, and then he's like, all right, gotta go. And then they left, and the next thing I know, I see other videos, and they're going on stage for Diplo, which was much later.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh, that's probably what happened. The storm came through, moved its way in the area.
Right.
Everyone left, but if you were gone, like you said, then you left. You didn't get to see that, and Lainey came back. I don't even know what time she came on.
I guess she came on around 10:30. I guess, which is probably not too far off of what she was supposed to do. I think her original set was 9:30, so she went on an hour later. But they were able to squeeze her in, so that was good.
I was out on Saturday night. We had gone and done something with the family up north, so I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was trying to watch on my phone, but I had no signal, so I was like, I can't do what we were at the races in Tenino. So I couldn't watch racing, and everyone's like, what are you doing on your phone? Right.
Pick a lane.
So it was kind of crazy. But then on Sunday, I saw, you know, more of the production, and I got to see a little bit of it on Amazon Prime. It was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it seemed like a great Stagecoach once again this year.
Yeah.
I know Post Malone, he had a bunch of artists that came out. Jake Worthington actually came, he had him come out with them. I thought that was pretty cool.
Jake's a great guy.
Yeah.
And he was we saw him with Zach Top down in Eugene
Right.
earlier in November. And I realized he's such a great guy. I love his music. He's got kind of a Bo Cephas feel, like a little bit of
he for some
Hank
reason
Jr.
reminds me of Mark Chestnut. I don't know why.
Oh my gosh, yes.
He just has, I don't know. I think of Mark Chestnut. When I think of him, I don't know. That's what comes to mind.
I'm going to see that in my head now for the rest of the
he's like
afternoon.
a little
That's so funny.
mini Mark Chestnut.
Oh my God, yeah. So maybe next year, if you've never been to Stagecoach, it is a bucket list item. You do have to try and do it at least once.
Yeah.
I know. Have you ever been to it?
I have. I've been twice.
Okay, so you're lucky. Yeah, I have not done
But
it.
it's grown and changed. Like it's been probably 8+ years since I've been.
Right.
And I do think, kind of like what we were saying, the stages with Coachella, the stages have grown. They're not like Coachella, but the stages have grown for
they're huge.
For Stagecoach.
Right.
So.
And there's 4 stages.
And they've added stages. Yeah.
Right.
So they've always had like the main stage, and they call it the main, MANE stage. And then they have the Palomino stage,
Right.
which is where, a lot of like I don't want to say not as popular artists, but
The up and coming artist.
yeah, or maybe some of the old school artists that,
Right.
Aren't doing stuff as much anymore, play on that stage.
Sure.
But that stage that's where Ashton Kutcher hangs out. Like,
Yeah.
he was there again this year. I think he goes every year.
I think he does.
A lot of actual like celebrities go to that stage
They
and
love
hang
it.
out because it's not like you're not getting Lainey Wilson on that stage. You're not getting Cody Johnson on that stage. Maybe at one point they did that stage.
Sure.
But you're getting some more random artists that everybody's kind of intrigued about.
Yeah.
So that's a cool stage. But then there's also the Mustang stage.
The Mustang stage. That was the one.
Diplo has a stage.
Yep. He had his own like kitchen area.
And then Guy Fieri, he did like a cook-off, and he had like a stage there. I know Chase Rice played on that.
Yep.
There's just so much going. So more so than when I went. It used to be the 2 stages, a couple activations here and there, but not like it is now.
No.
There's so much now.
It's way
American
more.
Eagle, they had a massive activation there.
Bailey and Ella?
hung out there. Ella hung out there.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah.
So if you do want to go to Stagecoach, you should actually probably start really
I would
thinking
start
about
planning.
it now.
It's almost like if you know you want to go, because they always have an incredible lineup.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
It's not going to fail you, for
Yeah,
sure.
Exactly. So it's almost like, okay, it just ended for this year. Start doing your research on Airbnbs or
Now.
hotels. Start saving your money because it's not cheap,
Nope.
but you're getting a lot. A
Right.
big bang for your buck, basically.
It's
if
one
you
of
get
those-
to go, kind of like CMA Fest.
Yes.
Yes, it's expensive, but if you, plan early,
And if you're
start
a
saving
fan-
early, you get so much.
Yeah.
You get to it's, again, biggest bang for your buck.
The crazy story with my daughter, she got to go to Coachella because a few of her friends had bailed out the last minute. And they had said, hey, we had something come up. We can't go. Would you want to buy the ticket? She's like, sure. Then they said, oh, well, we have an Airbnb, but it's going to cost you this. I think it was like $800 for the Airbnb for her for the week. Just for the Airbnb.
Yeah.
And then it was like another $400 for her ticket. So there's $1,200 already. That didn't include her airfare. And then they had to get a
But
car.
Also, that's face value,
Right.
which she's lucky because
And it was very last minute. She found out like a week and a half before
Yeah.
she was leaving.
so a friend of mine posted, people were selling, because obviously Bieber was the big,
Right.
draw for it. People were selling tickets, like just general admission tickets for like $7,000.
I know.
And some of those were selling.
Right.
So
it was crazy.
Lexi got lucky.
She did really get lucky. And so if you want, and if you, again, it's a bucket list. And if you're going to do it, book your Airbnb now or start looking for hotels now. You can always get a car. That's a given.
Yeah.
You can get your tickets. They're not even on sale yet, but you'll be able to get them.
Start
I would
saving.
say start saving, but definitely get your hotel room
I
for
would,
sure.
for
Yeah,
sure.
Definitely. And you never know who's going to be there, but guarantee it will not be
It's
a
always
bad
such
show.
an epic lineup.
Yeah, the last couple of years they had Journey, they had Nickelback.
Well, that's the
this
thing.
year Ludacris
they
was there.
have so many, like, yes, even if you you're not the biggest fan of the headliners,
Right.
there's so, like, I would actually be interested to go in and count like how many performers are at Stagecoach. I'm sure we could probably Google it, but there's got to be hundreds.
You know what it reminds me of? Just when you said that, it's like on the smaller stages. We've seen that at the Oregon Jamboree before, right?
Yeah.
There was the main stage,
Right.
and then there was their secondary stage. I'll never forget when we walked over and watched Warren Zeiders on the secondary stage.
That's who. When you just started mentioning, that's where my mind went.
That literally, I mean, anybody that was in that section, I mean, it was butt cheek to butt cheek.
It was
you could hardly breathe because everybody went over to that area. And that's the same thing at the Palomino stage and the Maverick stage and all these different things. You could see those type of acts because that moment, I forget who was on the main stage, like nobody even saw that act. The main stage is probably still mad at Warren Zeiders for it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So our producer is telling us there is over 100 performers at Stagecoach. I believe it. I bet that's closer to 200, honestly.
For sure.
Because, again, you have surprise pop-up artists. And
this year was like Sam Barber. Avriana got a new ACM. They presented her with that. She won the new Female Vocalist of the Year, which is cool.
That was cool.
So it's like the baby acts are coming up on those little stages, and the next thing you know, they're going to be on the main stages.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think Ella was ever a part of Stagecoach in the beginning.
I don't think so either. I think this was her first year.
But she's on a different trajectory.
She is. I mean, her path is
crazy.
Yeah. She got on that yellow brick road real quick.
Yes, she did.
And she is traveling it because, kind of like Lainey. I mean, again, they're just trailblazers right now.
And it's funny, too, because I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, I saw a video posted of Carrie Underwood at Stagecoach in 2022, which, if you think about it, was only 4 years ago, and she was on the headline, but I can't remember that she did that. But that's what I'm saying. Those are the kind of artists you're going to see. Everybody.
It's going to be worth it no matter what.
It's worth it.
And it's a great time, especially if you go with friends. I mean, like, what an incredible weekend.
Yeah, that would be like bucket list number 125 for me.
We're going to start checking some things off.
Yeah, I got a lot to check off before I get there. The other big thing that happened over the weekend, which was really cool, and I thought it was funny. I don't know if you saw their promo ad for it. Jason Aldean and Luke Bryan performing together in their hometown state of Georgia.
Yes.
It was pretty cool.
Yes.
Did you see the promo that they put together?
I didn't.
Oh,
Do I need to go back and watch it?
I don't want to tell you, but I want to tell you, but it was so funny because they're such pranksters.
They are. Yeah.
And I just thought it was fantastic. One of my coworkers, Katie Neal, that I work with, she was there.
Oh, cool.
A former coworker of mine who lives in Cleveland, she was there, and they all had the suites. So it reminded me a lot of the time when we got to go see Cody and Luke Combs in Seattle. We all had our suites, and we all got to do something special with them.
Right.
And I remember in our suite, David Lee Murphy came up and said hello to everybody.
Yes, I remember
which was
that.
Pretty cool.
Yes.
It took me back to that moment.
And I kept saying David Lee Roth, and I'm like, in my mind was saying David Lee Murphy, but my mouth was saying David Lee Roth. Because I think I said that to you, and you were like, wait, what? Yeah.
But yeah, it was those moments, again, like the fear of missing out. I'm like, why can't we just have like a quick plane ride to Georgia?
And I wonder if that's going to be, because I feel like it was such a success. And I feel like, just from what I've seen, Luke and Jason really enjoyed their moment there.
Sure.
And I think it was really, like, so I'm wondering if it's going to be an annual thing.
I would think so.
I would hope so.
I do too. I think the stadium holds like 80,000 people.
Yeah, because I think I read there was like 78,000 people there or something like that, or 73,000. It was a lot.
And they had planned this for a while. They announced this last year.
Right.
Because I remember watching Game Day College.
Yes.
At one of the games, and they're like, we're going back home.
We had talked about it. And
right.
I didn't realize how big it was really. I mean, I knew it would be something big, but it was pretty massive.
Well, and you think about like all the states that are there. That's the one thing that's great about the Midwest and the East Coast. Like all those little tiny states are so close to one another.
Yeah.
Like my son Tanner's going to Georgia in a couple weeks, and he's going to be, landing in Atlanta, and then he's going to drive down with some friends and hang out and stuff. So I'm like, you're going to get to see so much.
Oh,
which is great.
Which is really cool.
Taking the view everywhere you go.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of history there. But that's the thing I love about that, because you could be in Georgia, you can be in Florida, you can like literally in 20 minutes.
Right.
You know how close they are.
Right.
But I did not see any of the performances. I only saw the production piece they put together before the show even started. So all 80,000 fans were watching this.
Yeah.
And it was very funny. It was, who's going to go first? And it is hysterical. You have to go watch it. You'll find it. But the thing that I really loved is they brought out their own Georgia Peach, Miss Lauren Elena.
They did.
Yeah.
Yes. Lauren Elena and Brantley Gilbert.
Yep. He showed up.
Yep.
Writing
he
for
was
songs
there.
for Jason.
Well, and I thought it was really cool that they so like Jason would play some songs, and then it was truly co-headlining.
Right.
It wasn't like, okay, Jason's going to go first, play his set, and then Luke,
Right.
or vice versa. It truly was a co-headlining tour.
I'm not
Every
gonna lie.
few songs, and then they would switch off, which I think it's cool not only for the artist but for all the fans. Like
Yes.
I think that's great.
I want to see more shows like that.
I do too.
I don't mind. I don't mind going and seeing, okay, there's 4 acts on the show. Like, I'll just use Jason as an example. Coming to the Cascades Amphitheater in July. He's going to have Chase Matthew, Mackenzie Carpenter's going to be there, and then Jason. So we know there's going to be 3 sets.
Sure.
In this particular case,
It's different.
when it's a Jason and a Luke together, or even a Keith Urban.
Right.
Like, those stages are so big.
Yeah.
I say put up 3 drum sets, you know, and then your guys can walk out with their guitars, their basses, and
That's
their fiddles
easy
or
enough.
whatever.
Yeah.
But the main
Have
is
the
your drums.
Yeah, have the kit set up.
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
That would be like I would love to see more shows like that.
Yeah, and it sounds like that's how they did that, which I think was fantastic.
Right.
It kind of made me go back to, and I know we both saw the tour, Kenny Chesney and Tim McGraw,
Yep.
but Tim went on first and then Kenny.
Yep.
And then I know Kenny brought Tim out and they played some songs together, but like originally it was kind of billed because it was the Brothers of the Sun tour and it was kind of billed as a co-headlining, or maybe it wasn't billed as a co-headlining tour and I just kind of thought it was. But like those two, that could have been something where they're
Right.
both on stage together.
I thought they flip-flopped, and maybe
Did they? I can't remember. See, I can't remember because I was back in, gosh, I think that was
I think it was a while ago, but I think
2010. I don't remember.
Yeah.
No,
I think Tim opened some,
18
like
maybe?
Tim would open,
Yeah.
and then the next
Did
town
they
Kenny
flip?
would open.
Okay, I
Then the
I
next
couldn't
town it was
remember.
Tim, then the next town it was Kenny.
because this doesn't happen often
No.
where it's like that.
No.
So I think, and who knows, maybe Jason and Luke are going to kind of set a new trend
I hope so.
with this.
How long was the show? Do you know? Did you ever hear or see anything about it?
I don't know. That's a good question. My guess it was, I mean, it had to have been over
3
2
hours.
2 to 3 hours. Had to have been.
Yeah, I mean,
Because when you think everybody's there to hear their hits.
sure.
And they both have such a vast collection
Well,
of
you'll
hits.
see this in the funny
So,
opening.
okay.
It's
Well, I'm going to have to
hysterical.
watch it. We'll link this opening below because now I can't wait to see
Yeah,
it.
it's so funny.
I
and
can
it's,
imagine.
it was perfect.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote it all, or
Yeah.
if they sat down and wrote it together, props to them because
Really?
it was fantastic. Yeah, it was
See,
really
I can
cool.
see Luke just being so like funny and that kind of stuff. Was Jason just as funny?
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
he's usually a little bit more laid back and quiet.
He came at Luke
Okay.
in this situation. Luke was trying to be Mr. Funny, and then
Okay.
Jason would reply to him and like, "Yeah, me too, man."
Okay, just kind of.
So
okay.
it was very funny when
Yeah.
you see how much they have in common.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Okay, I
I
can't wait to
really
see
loved
it.
it. But I would imagine, like, you know, when Bruce Springsteen was here a couple months, like a month ago, that man performs for 3 hours.
He does.
and so do the Eagles.
Yep.
They give it everything they got, day in and day out, every single night,
Yeah.
and that's why they're taking like a show and then 2 days off, and
As
then
they
another show,
should,
right?
yeah.
Because you need to rest,
Oh,
vocal
yeah,
rest,
vocal,
right?
yeah.
That's the biggest thing. So I would imagine a show like that could easily do 3 hours. You could do
Yeah, you're probably right. I bet it was 3 hours.
probably it can actually even go longer. Really,
yeah.
it could probably go like an hour and a half for each artist. That's
Yeah.
3 hours right there. And then
Right.
if you give your opening act a 35 or 40
Oh yeah, I
minute
was just
set-
thinking 3 hours just for them.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You know, like
Yeah.
Lauren Elena, I know she doesn't have a lot of hits. She's probably got like
but
7 or
probably
8.
a good 45-minute set.
Easy.
Yeah.
And I feel bad when those artists come out because like you get to sing 3 songs.
I
Like
know.
you're just getting warmed up.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
it sucks because you're getting into your rhythm, you're feeling
Yeah.
good.
Especially like the very first opening artist at a show. I mean, typically I think they only get like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then,
It's
but you're
different.
right. By the time they're at their last song, they're just now
Starting
like
to
ready to.
Fire on all cylinders.
Yeah.
And I think about the time that we saw it was Lainey's show. She was very fair and very cool about it. She gave Jackson Dean 45 minutes. She gave Zach Top 45 minutes. And then she
Yeah.
invited both the guys back
Yeah.
out, which was awesome because I feel like you're right. They
Yeah.
have and when you have a talent like Zach Top
Right.
and a Jackson Dean.
Right. You want
that's-
to
woo.
let them have their moments to
Sure,
shine.
you got to share that. Another huge concert that was this weekend was also George Strait with Miranda Lambert and Zach Top.
I know.
I'm like, so much great country music this
So
past
much went
weekend.
on. Yeah, exactly.
I saw Zach's opening. I didn't see any of Miranda. I saw Zach's opening. I saw a lot of his performances. And people were just blown away. 'Cause
Of course. Yeah.
It's Zach.
It's Zach.
And he is just, he's like Lainey and Ella right now.
Yeah,
He's on fire. I saw one of the performances of a bluegrass song that he performed, and we saw it here in Eugene.
So good.
That crowd
right.
was not ready for that.
Uh-huh.
They were, George's crew is they're deep. They know they love Amarillo by Morning, the Firemen, and everything else. But when he started playing that, like he got like a 10-minute standing ovation.
Wow.
It was awesome.
That's so cool.
So cool to see. I didn't see
go, Zach.
anything from Miranda, which was kind of a bummer.
Weird.
I really like to watch her perform because she's one of my faves.
Yeah.
But George, again, the king, like that guy can do no wrong in anyone's eyes.
I know.
But I'm like, you had 3 hot spots to be at this year. Where would you choose? What would be the number one for you?
Oh. I think just because it was the first one, I would probably say Georgia.
Yeah.
Only because it's the first one. Really want to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would pick. What about you?
It would have been easily that one, for sure. I mean, I've seen George. I've seen him so much.
I've seen him. I've seen Miranda.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can all, I don't know. I just feel like for the first...
You want to be part of the inaugural if that's it?
Kind of like the first.
Yeah.
Just to kind of see how it's going to go and what if they don't do it again,
Yeah, that could have been a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
And done.
Yeah, you're done. I hope they don't.
I
hope not.
Yeah, I hope that's going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Because I can only imagine how much tourism that brought in to Georgia.
So much.
You know what I mean? That benefited the state.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. I did see like the days leading up to it and even like maybe even the day up. Like Jason specifically, I saw like he was out in the trailer, like the merch trailer, signing stuff,
surprising people. He popped in.
So I mean, I felt like they were very connected with all the fans that they knew, like, okay, this is a big deal.
Sure,
this is a big deal for the fans. I want to make them feel a part of this,
right?
Which 100%. I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I feel like also in those situations with those. Like the money you're bringing in, Stagecoach too. I mean, they brought in so much money. The Airbnbs, the car rentals. I mean, they should be patting everybody on the back, saying thank you, the promoters,
exactly,
for sure, because they are making money hand over fist. I was trying to think about this. We went to the races Saturday night up in Tenino, at a place called South Sound Speedway, and we haven't done a asphalt track in a while. But for 2 beers, it was $16. I'm like, that's kind of a good deal. Not too bad. You go to the Blazer game, it's like
$16 for both of them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Right? You go to the Blazer game, it's like $12 a beer.
For one.
I don't know what they were charging in Georgia, but I know come football games between LSU and Georgia, those are high-stake games.
Yep.
And my son Tanner wants to go, and I told him, I said, I don't think you're ready for that yet. It's a whole different ball game.
It's another level.
But you take about all the food, hot dogs, pizzas, popcorns, beers.
Everything,
They brought in so much money to the community. So I'm sure people are like, please do this again. You saved our business. It was one of those things.
And I have no doubt, knowing Jason and knowing Luke and how their ties to just Georgia in general, I'm sure they did a bunch of donations and stuff like that, just because that's the type of guys that they are. So I bet it was a good weekend. It was a good weekend all around, except for us, because we missed out on all of this.
I know. We had FOMO and a lot of it. Man.
Yes. So no more FOMO for us.
No, we got to get moving. We're still working on the CMA Fan Fest in June in Nashville, and hopefully you've got plans to get there. If not, and we do get the word that we are going to go, trust me, we're taking you with us. It's going to be awesome for sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
If you don't subscribe already to the podcast, please share, tell your friends, like, comment, find us on YouTube, all your Spotify places, Spotify, Apple, Amazon. They're everywhere.
All the podcast platforms.
I can't keep up with them all the time because we're always adding something new. So, yeah. And we'd love to hear from you. If you've ever had a fear of missing out moment, what was your favorite FOMO moment?
Kind of want to know.
We'd love to hear from you. Text us, write us, email Julia, myself.
Email us at cmr@countrymusicrocks.net.
Yeah, love to hear from you. In the meantime, hopefully you have a great summer. Summer's on its way. We got some great shows lined up for you. We're going to be at all of them. Come find us. Come say hello. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week on the podcast.